want us to look at is, very quickly, we have seen various individuals who have taken the time to share palliatives within their community. We have within the Southwest, where we've seen the argument go back and forth with the Southwest governors who have honestly, have said that what the federal government gave them was an insult. And the federal government has come out to deny that those pictures the Southwest governors were sharing emanated from them. Now, the thing that we want to do now is to basically share these pictures with us and let us make the judgment ourselves. Let us make the judgment ourselves. These are the pictures that we have seen from the Southwest. Question is, how did these pictures eventually get to this place? Okay, so we can see this picture here. This is the rice that the Southwest governors have shared the pictures that this is what they got from the federal government. And you can see cameras there, this rice are expired. Some people are making jokes online saying if they want to share money, they go to the northern part of Nigeria. If they want to share expired rice, they go to the southern part of Nigeria. Obviously, this is not good at all. This is not good. It doesn't tell good of us. That means these things were not inspected before they were distributed to the people. In as much as people are sharing palliatives, I mean, that is very welcome for people to think of others. Many of us have actually done same, in our own little way. We have reached out to communities where people are hungry and palliatives given to them. Now, there is another picture which we think it's an insult. And so many of us have actually shown our disdain and dislike for this particular picture. Hey, but be that as it may, we would have to equally share this picture with us. And this is the picture here. Daniel Elombah, what do you have to say about this picture? This is a picture, they call it, show me your yam, one yam. So everybody comes, basically our parents are being used as, I mean, this picture breaks my heart because I'm looking at this picture, I'm thinking something is definitely inherent wrong with the black man or the black politicians. Elombah, what do you think?
Oh, Nigerian politicians actually know how to degrade, dehumanize, and disgrace their fellow citizens. I remember when we were making statements that Nigerians should, when sharing palliatives, they should stop describing the recipients of the palliatives as, what do they call them again? Vulnerable Nigerians. There's another term which we were actually kicking against, because that makes it so disgraceful to refer to human beings in that. Your mother to carry the yam up to show that you are receiving just one tuber of yam from a government official or maybe a philanthropist. I think it is actually demeaning. We should learn to do charitable works without demeaning our fellow human beings, without giving them their necessary decency. Human decency is lacking here. That's what I think.
So, again, thank you very much. So when I look at this yam, for instance, I mean, to give them yam is not the issue. I mean, don't get me wrong. To give them yam is not the issue. In the palliatives that many of us have done, that included rice and that included yam. These are the basic staples in the average Nigerian family. These are the basic food staples. However, to do photo op with them, tell them to raise the yam up, it's the height of insensitivity. You know, it's, I don't know. It's the height of insensitivity.
It's very insensitive. It's very
You know,
insensitive.
it actually beats me silly that we are still doing something like this in this day and age. And this is the reason why we say, I mean, it's maybe because of hunger. That's why these people could actually collect this. But people should move away from things like this. People should move away from things like this and do not accept such nonsense. It's actually, you know, it's really getting me worked up and angry. That picture alone is unbelievable. So, you know, again, then we have where people have given proper, you know, palliatives without necessarily going to, or without necessarily mentioning the names of those who have done that. We have somewhere in Anambra State where a man, he said he doesn't want his name mentioned. They said it's about 30 trailers. So let's look at this and we would understand what I'm talking about. This man somewhere in Anambra State has given his community about 30 trailers of 30 trailer load of rice, and still he doesn't want to be named. And this is the video. Listen to it. So basically, I mean, you have seen it. So you have seen it. That's you know, in our view, the Ogandoga, in my view, I think the person in question is Allen Onyema. That is the CEO of APs. That is the person in question. You know, many of you have actually said that he has given money to federal government and that he was sharing in Lagos without coming down to the east. But I think we're all human. Be you in Lagos, be you down south. He remembers his people. He gives them whatever that is their due. Dan, what do you think?
You mean what I think about Onyema has done?
Yes.
Oh, well, I think, let me first of all say that our people have too much religion without any iota of godliness. Because any Christian is welcome, is very conversant with what Jesus Christ said at Matthew chapter 6. That when you are giving gifts of mercy, let your right hand know Your left hand should not know what your right hand is doing. That your gifts of mercy or your charitable works should be given in secret so that you will get your reward from heaven, who will reward you in secret. On the other hand, if you are giving gifts of mercy, I once posted something on my Facebook that when you are giving palliatives, drop your camera at home. There is no way for you to be giving a charitable works and then taking selfie and then posting the poor widow or poor child you are giving a palliatives and splashing the pictures all over the social media. It is demeaning. Jesus Christ said you're already receiving your reward on earth, so you will no longer receive any reward from God. And that is in the country where if we are not Christians, then no problem. But if we claim to be Christians, then doing charitable works should be done in a Christian way. It should be done secretly. It should be done in a decent manner. It should not be a show display. It should not be done as a photo opportunity. It should not be a photo op because you are actually trying to give arms or help to your fellow human being. And that is what Alan Onyema has done here. That is very to be encouraged. That is something that our philanthropists should emulate. Giving arms should not be a photo opportunity. It's not something to take selfie and splash on Facebook. So that is how it should be. Go to whoever you want to give charitable works or gifts or money. Give it to him. Let him thank you, and then that will be your reward. And you will not look for worldly adulation for people to praise you to see that you are giving. Because that is the essence of posting it on Facebook. That's the essence of showing all those things on social media. For people to see it and thank you and say, oh, this guy is doing fine. So your reward should be the appreciation shown by the recipient of the gifts and not from someone. In fact, I don't even know why someone should do it. Why should it concern me that you are giving something in your village? If you go to my Dodge village and give something and give a lady there a bag of rice, how is that of concern to me? You're seeing it on social media in London. It makes no sense. Your reward should be from the person receiving it, showing appreciation to you. I don't see why you should assault my eyes by showing it on Facebook, on social media. So in other words, what Onyema has done there is very nice.
Yes, that's good. But there is another angle to what you just said. Another angle to that is, imagine where Onyema has done all this, and you read, I mean, within the social media space, you read that initially, when the COVID started, that the donors are predominantly Southerners and in larger quantity also Igbos or people from the southeastern part of the country. And people were accusing them that they did not donate at home where they started donating for the federal government. My argument at that point was that, well, they made their money via federal government, so they are basically paying tithes. That's what I christened it to be.
Yeah.
You know, someone like at that time, in the person of Emeka, for instance, in the first week of this whole thing. And I said, well, he made his money through the federal government. Therefore, giving back his corporate social responsibility, giving back to the same people that he made his money from, is a means of paying back, you know, to make sure that the inflow stays. However,
I think you may be right, because if you note, in Nnewi, for instance, most of Nnewi billionaires are self-made. They didn't make their money from government contractors. And so when people are donating billions of naira to the federal government post, what Nnewi billionaires simply did is to go to their village, use that money and give it directly to the villagers without giving it to the federal government, because it is their money. They made it through their date of hard work. So they went to their villages and not donate to the federal government post. So I think you are right that those who are giving to the federal government are those who made money from the federal government. And if you look at what governor of Rivers State said, he said that if you're making your money from Lagos State, Rivers State government, you should not give money to the federal, you give it to the Rivers State government. So that is in essence what you are saying.
Yes, because I mean, it's in another way I put it as them paying tithes. Because honestly, but someone like, you know, I mean, that brings me to the point where I say someone like Onyema, Allen Onyema, who makes money not everywhere from Nigeria, and his hub is in Lagos. So it is equally right. He didn't go to the rich part of Lagos because the first place he gave was Lagos State. That's where his head office is. That's where, and again, he went, quite unlike every other person, he went to the hinterland of Lagos, where no politician is willing to go at this point, where those seeking for your votes are not willing to go. So he basically went to that place and he gave. Now he's gone back to the southeast, and that's what he gave. So reason why, I understand your point that it shouldn't be broadcasted, but if people are not aware, if the people within the south or southeast are not aware that he's doing so, as was shown in that video, many people would actually, start still maintain that, well, look at this man, he's trying to please them, then he's not doing the needful for his people without knowing. And again, remember there was a time we had this conversation, because Nigerians become a people that take without appreciation. So someone takes, and still when it comes into a conversation, say, look at this man, nobody eats his anything. Why? Because the neighbor has never seen him gone to take, because you've been doing it discreetly. You haven't gone public with it. So he kind of keep, manipulating and taking. So in this case, it could be that sometimes there is an element of actually, in as much as the Bible said, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, but there could be an element of saying, if my left hand sees what my right hand is doing in the Nigerian context, that means my left hand would not, defraud the right hand. You disagree?
Well, all situations are not the same. So these things, what we call for is balance. Actually, people knew that Onyema gave that money, but he didn't ask those who are receiving the bags of rice to carry the bags of rice on their head.
Sure.
For people to see unlike the guy who gave one tuber of yam. So it's very ridiculous. So what we call for is a balance here.
Exactly.
What we are calling for is balance.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, I agree with you. It's a common sense, because yes, one is biblical injunction. The other one is common sense, using your common sense to understand that this is the terrain in which you operate, and common sense will have to prevail. Now, in conclusion to this evening broadcast, Dan, we have seen things happening in Kano State, to the point that over 500 people died in Kano State in one day. And we heard that the Kano State is saying, we know these people did not die of COVID. There was no single autopsy done. Question that bothers everyone is, does it not make sense to have people, these people that have died, does it not make sense to have them tested or autopsied before burial? Is it enough to have what was trending today on social media, which is called verbal autopsy? If a state governor says these people did not die of COVID-19, that means verbally you've conducted an autopsy and they didn't die of COVID-19. And if they didn't die of COVID-19, what killed them? Shouldn't what killed them be an issue that should concern all of us? What's your view?
One of the saddest things about we are all Africans, and we know what our backgrounds are. We don't pay much attention to data and facts. And because we don't pay much attention to evidence, data, and facts, we live a life of a lackadaisical life. We don't really care much about what happens to livelihood, and human beings. So the Kano state government, the attitude is, well, 500 people have died, they are buried, and they are gone. But what about preserving the life of those who are living? What about stopping the deaths from occurring? What about taking the necessary actions to ensure that this incident does not repeat itself, that people does not die unnecessarily anymore. And the only way to stop that is to verify and find out what actually killed those who have died already.
Mm-hmm.
Because without knowing what killed them, then you cannot prevent it from happening again. Our Igbo say that, see, who doesn't know where the rain started
You know where it finishes.
He wouldn't know where it stopped. So you have to first of all find out what killed those who have died, for you to find a solution to stop it from happening again. So I think it is preposterous, it is so ludicrous for the Kano State government to take that view. By the way, what is verbal autopsy? What's verbal autopsy? No, I'm serious. I'm asking. What is verbal autopsy?
Okay. Verbal autopsy is when people who are not qualified to conduct autopsy verbally tells you that Mr. A did not die of this disease, that he died of the other disease, but they're not willing to tell you which other disease he died of. So they don't want to take the medical autopsy, but they would want you that an autopsy have been done and you have to accept whatever they verbally told you that killed the individual. You know.
So if the person telling you that, look, I listened to the Commissioner of Health in Kano State yesterday, or was it this morning? No, it was yesterday, saying that the people who are dying of Kano are not dying of COVID-19. That many of them are dying from hypertension, diabetes, meningitis. So he sounded so stupid. Because he was saying, this is a death that happened in 5 different local government areas of Kano State. And you are saying that, and this is in an era where COVID-19 is killing people in Kano State as well. So yes. Wouldn't it be best to have an autopsy to confirm exactly what is actually killing these people?
That is the verbal autopsy. He has told you that they died of diabetes. He didn't conduct any autopsy, but verbally has confirmed.
Yes.
He has told you that they died of hypertension. He didn't conduct any autopsy, but verbally did that. I told you what. So, yeah. And there is an insinuation that equally could be cholera. So the whole point is the convolution and the epic center of stupidity. That's what I call it.
Yes.
You know, so the whole thing sounds that you think, you know, in a place where people have gray matter as governed, the individual that made that statement should actually vacate its seat, within the next hour.
Exactly. So by saying that now, by giving us 5 different possibilities, of course, of death, how can the state government take the necessary action to stop more people from dying if they're not sure of what is killing them?
It doesn't, you know, to them, it doesn't matter. Yet, the same man who is arguing that there is no COVID-19 in his state is requesting from the federal government 15 billion to fight COVID-19. Yeah. Then I ask myself, why don't you get 15 billion to fight whatever is killing your people if COVID is not there? I think, you see, you know, when many of us were outraged when we saw him in view of camera and stuffing his babariga, the Agbada bullion van, dollars. And we were outraged and we called for, and suddenly, you see, the people who re-elected him, somehow, you know, if you want to be mean, you say, well, it serves them right. But at the same time, the humanity in us will say, well, these are human beings.
Exactly.
If not, it's easy to say it serves them right, because if you come back and re-elected, I don't know, you know, I don't want to say.
Another terrible thing about what is happening in Kano State is that, look, people did not start dying from yesterday. People have been dying all along. And initially last week, the Kano State government denied that the death is not something out of the ordinary, that at this time of the year, more people died anyway. So they are a little bit unconcerned until people started shouting, the more prominent people started dying. In fact,
I think about 3 professors so far. Professors.
And President Muhammad Buhari was all the press statements Elombah news we are receiving from the State House yesterday. We have President Muhammad Buhari mourned the mother of DSS. President Muhammad Buhari condoled with Kano State government with the Professor Ayagi. So it was all condolence messages. And now people say that the Kano State government kept quiet for more people to die because he wanted the billions of naira that was given to Lagos, because he had that 2 weeks ago, Buhari released 10 billion naira to Lagos State to fight COVID-19. So he wanted the billions of naira to be given to Kano State, and people are saying that was why he kept quiet, for people to continue dying. If that were so, that is the height of man's inhumanity to man. That is the height of man's cruelty to his human being. And sadly, Nigerians allow this thing to be happening. I can't believe it.
And there is nothing. You see, it's the outrage appears to be. See, that's the funny thing. Sorry, I have to say this. The outrage appears to be coming from the southern part of Nigeria.
Exactly.
So sometimes, I belong to so many forums where I have my northern brothers as well. But the outrage appears to be coming. Sometimes ask yourself, like yesterday, this morning, I asked some of them, I said, please, can you guys tell us what is happening? Because the news it's overwhelming. Sadly, none of them deemed it fit to even respond.
It's sad.
It's like
some people say it's well, again, we have to say this, even though it's not politically correct. Some people are saying it's because of the Muslim religion, because the Muslim religion views anything that comes to you as coming from God, and therefore you have to accept it. That fatalistic view of life. So if people die, well, it is God allowed them to die. So that's it. But that shouldn't be. I don't think that is the right perspective to take. God doesn't kill anyone. It is man's inhumanity to allow hundreds of people to die and then blame it on God. No, it is not Allah. That death is not from Allah. That death was allowed by the governor of the Kano State, and the government of Kano State should be held responsible.
Okay, now, in line with what you just said, it just came to my mind now of this video. Let me play this video for us to see what an imam is saying in Kano. And I've had someone to translate this for me. Just quickly, I'll play these videos for us to understand what is happening, because honestly, this is taking silliness to the highest order. And that is what you just said, just being with damn political correctness. We say it the way it is, irrespective of, if you feel offended, so be it. But the truth must be said. Anyway, so let me share this quickly, and we will see what we are talking about. You see, what I was told the man was saying is very simple. Now, this is the translation, or rather, the information, the direct translation of what he said. He said, the preacher said, once there was cholera in Kano, in one day about 500 people died. Did we see the corpses? And you can hear the crowd chorus, yes, we did. He asked them again, did we see them buried? The crowd said, yes, we did. The preacher said, did we see those who went to bury them return? They said, yes, we did. Now, the preacher said again, where are those corpses of the corona victims? We have not seen any, he said, because it is a lie. The crowd choruses, yes, it is a lie. I say, that's when he touches his chest. I say, it is a lie. And the crowd says, yes, it is a lie. With that level of mentality, have you seen why the issue, you blame the government, you can see them sitting down there, no social distance observed, right? And we have seen video trending. They wash their hands, said, Babu Corona, wash your hands, say, Babu Corona. After washing their hands, they will drink the water. You see the reason why Kano might eventually be the epic center, that the death we will record is going to be likely to be unprecedented.
No, what I say is no wahala. When the coronavirus came into Iran, the Iranian government is almost, I think, 98% Muslim nation.
Mm.
So the government of Iran imposed a lockdown that nobody should go to mosque.
Mm.
One of the highest sheikhs imam in Iran said it is ungodly for you to ban people from coming to the mosque, that people must come to the mosque. Well, to cut a long story short, that imam eventually caught coronavirus and he's dead.
Yes. So it is the will of Allah.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, there is also a pastor in the United States also who was saying that people should come to church. That when you come to the church, that the blood of Jesus Christ will cover you, you will not get coronavirus. That pastor is also dead. So if you say that there is no coronavirus, no wahala, I said. When the coronavirus catches you, then you know, you know the coronavirus exists. So no wahala. What you are, well, it's not a laughing matter, but it is so ridiculous. What you are saying is, we all believe that God exists, but God tells you to take it. God commanded the nation of Israel, when you go to the bush, after doing your business, cover it put it to the ground, cover it with dust. Don't leave it on the surface. You must dig a hole, do your business inside there, and then cover it up. Come back, wash your hand, and maintain cleanliness. That was God giving that commandment to the nation of Israel. Why? Because God knew that if you leave your business above the ground, housefly will touch your business, bring it and pitch on your food. You will eat that food, you'll get disease and die. So God wanted you to take precautions to stop getting yourself from infection. God gave the people of Israel another command, that if anybody becomes a leper, that leper should be quarantined away from the camp of Israel, away, so that he will not infect other Israelites. And if he has any business to come into the land of Israel, he should carry a bell ringing. I'm coming, I'm a leper, don't come near me.
Everybody will avoid.
Everybody will give him away. God gave that command for you to take precautions to stop yourself from getting infected. So whether you are an imam or a pastor or a reverend or whatever you say yourself, if you say there's no coronavirus, no problem. When coronavirus gets to you, then you know that coronavirus exists.
Well, it's, I like that view. And, to wrap it up, still in Kano State, we have seen videos equally where, just like in Lagos State, it shows where the hunger can do people, can push people to do things that, no one ever envisaged. Now, I think this is a delivery, people taking stock to their shops. But this truck, these small, what's it called? The high jets, small trucks, was invaded by the people. And the following that you're going to watch now happened. Okay? Just watch. The following that you're going to watch just happened as the thing was invaded. So you can see this here. I mean, my heart bleeds when I watch this because this is an impending calamity. You can see the number of people on the street. You can see this truck being invaded. The words being cut out away. No one cares. They just want, I think, some gallons of oil, some maybe packets of Indomie and rice. Everybody just taking it. The guy saw he couldn't proceed because there was a blockage ahead. He had to quickly do a runaway in order to probably save some items. And so people were still actually getting into that truck, into that van to take some things away. Are we not seeing something that as this lockdown and the crash in oil price is biting harder, don't you think we are going to see more of such actions by the citizens?
No one should be surprised about what is happening. Nigeria, this COVID-19, someone has said that this world there will be a world pre-COVID-19 and a world post-COVID-19.
After.
So Nigeria will also have Nigeria well, if Nigerians will learn a lesson, because what COVID-19 is telling us is that Nigeria should be very, very careful. The Nigerian leaders have all these years ignored what they should do. They didn't build enough hospitals. They all ran away to UK and US and Dubai hospitals. But now they can no longer, if any politician gets sick now, he will live and die in Nigeria. We saw Abakari now. Without COVID-19, if he got sick, he would have been flown to his favorite hospital in Wellington Hospital in London. But he lived and he got sick and died in a Lagos hospital. So Nigerians, it's a lesson. Another lesson we will have is this inversion of this boss. People are no longer, when people are hungry, they don't care what kills them anymore. So the more the hungrier Nigerians become, the bolder, more brazen they will be. We will see more looting. We saw it in Lagos already, the 1 million boys breaking into shops and taking people's property. So if Nigerians do not do the needful, then we'll see more of these acts of people looting shops, looting other people's property for them to be able to eat. We see the palliative that government is doling out. It is. I don't know whether to call it palliative, because Nigerians should have a systematic way of knowing the number of people. We had a conference on Friday where these issues were thrashed out. Nigerians should be able to know the number of people in a given area, have their number all their property, know them individually, know their needs, so that the government wants to give financial assistance to people in the form of income support, they will be able to do that in a systematic manner. Our next conference on Friday again will also explore that issue again. How will Nigeria apply the society to make sure that this type of thing we are seeing in Kano will not be repeated all over the country, or else if they don't do it, one day there will be a revolution, and those who fail to do what they're supposed to do will feel the wrath of the masses. So we are not surprised.
And basically, just to add to what you've said, basically, this COVID-19 offers the government, if they are really a thinking government, it offers them the opportunity to set certain things right. It offers them the opportunity to begin to look at, the way things are and begin to aggregate, aggregate data. Because with data, we can know how many households, what we hear today, that individuals get this conditional cash transfer or whatever it's called. Before the election, it was trader money, basically sharing cash.
Yeah.
After now, it is conditional cash transfer. But if we have the data, we will know each family. I once proposed to the government, if we are serious, actually, in starting now will be part of how to identify your citizens will be once someone turns 18, pay every single child that turns 18 20,000, and that 20,000 will not be given cash. That 20,000 will be paid in a bank account. And the easier way to do it is that will force the individual to open a bank account in order to get that 20,000. That will force the individual to get national ID card, and that will force that individual, if you have a voter's card, that will force the individual too. These are the three preconditions that the moment you fulfill them when you turn 18, then you get this money. You can begin to, you see, the challenge and the tragedy of the whole matter is, it appears no one is actually interested in getting the real data.
Why? Because they being a fraudulent country, they will see this. These people designing doing these things know what they should do, but they want the one they will do that will allow them to loot money. They know all of them came to school in the UK. They have national.
But there is a limit to stealing. But I mean,
that's the point you are saying. They know what to do. They know these things you are saying. They know they should do it. But once you start doing it, then of course electoral malpractice will be reduced. They can no longer rig election easily. They can no longer loot money that should be made available to the public. Okay, our discussion this week is about the COVID-19 turning it into an opportunity. How do we use the experience now to turn it into an opportunity to develop the country? So, say for instance, the country is okay. From now on, each child born will receive, any mother that gives birth to a child will receive 5,000 naira. And for you to do this, you must register yourself, get a number. Once you get that baby, you go and register that baby. Then you get that money. And you have to open a bank account. So once you get, that will mean in the next 5 years, every Nigerian will be in a system somewhere, so that you know the particular number.
You know the dad, you know the mom, you know the baby.
Exactly, and that will help you to plan. That will help you to plan any government activities. That will help you to plan. You know the number of people who are in school. When they drop out of school, you will know. When they are unemployed, you will know, because anyone employed baby will get 5,000 naira a month. And every unemployed person will go and register. Once you have all this data, it will help you to plan. And of course, you will no longer be able to rig. If you're in Borno State, if there are only 1 million people living in Borno State, you cannot in an election claim that they have 1.8 million voters. So that's why they don't want to do it. If Kano State has only 2 million people living there of a voters age, you cannot claim 3.5 million votes. So they wouldn't want to do this because it allows them to act fraudulently, both in an election and to loot money. But they know what they should do, but they don't want to do it. But now, yeah.
Even when you look at what Professor Chidodin Carlos said in the last conference we had over the weekend, you know, he said, he made mention of how because this is not only, there is no one part of Nigeria that can be accused of this. It is across the whole nation.
Yes, of course.
It's 2006, what's it called? A census, for instance. Many people were counted twice in their villages and where they reside. That makes the whole data convoluted. The whole data, it basically became nonsensical. You saw some kinsmen contributing money, giving it to the people who work with the Nigerian Population Commission or Census Commission or whatever they are called. And, you know, you ask yourself, everyone in the East, North, West, South, everyone is engaging in the same thing. And it appears there is no solution in sight.
Well, until Nigerian lines to do the needful, well, like you said, I see no solution now, except if, well, listening to Buhari's speech today, I'm not talking about the mode of delivery, but the content of what he said. You can see there's a difference between the speech today and the speech last week, because you can see now the lockdown, the lockdown measure seems now to be more carefully thought through. So, well, maybe there's something good that will come out of this COVID-19. Maybe it will make the government to think more, give more thought to the act of governance, and not simply doing things without thinking it through.
Well, if I see where you're coming from, but I would disagree, because the speech he made today was the speech he should have done the first time when he didn't speak for about 2 weeks. The first time he spoke was that speech.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe that was in Nigeria then. So maybe the COVID crisis is now making them to think. So maybe we are seeing a new Nigeria from now on, starting from today. So if our tomorrow begins today, well, it's still early. So let's see how maybe COVID-19 will make them start.
But even at that, when I read the words, so I didn't watch him, but I just read the speech that was posted. So when I read where he says that banks of industry and the commercial banks will begin to work out how to help the SMEs and the business people, I'm thinking, hey, that is nonsense, because
that's what we have thought out of.
That's what you should have before even the first instance. Remember when Boris Johnson, before the United Kingdom ever made the pronouncement that they want to lock down, they were. I never heard of the word being followed. You know, you're not being sacked.
The plan is already there.
The job is the only thing that the government just left you to move. Then the company leaves you for you to be paid by the government. So you see people who are thinking, because they already know okay, if we lock down this economy, they're not giving anybody any food, but they know that something has to. They even planned 6 months ahead.
Yes.
But that is in the worst case scenario. They will be reviewing it. But in our case, he just said everything locked down.
No, we don't plan.
We just started shooting people.
Yeah, we don't plan. We simply wake up one morning and simply make a pronouncement without thinking. And then when we start seeing the consequences, we now start to go back to the drawing board. So we don't plan. And it is that planlessness that is the bane of the country. So that's it. And only when we start planning, then there's no hope, like you said. I'm seeing no hope at the
I think for the next conference coming on to Zoom next week, this Saturday, that is going to still be looking at the COVID-19 and opportunities that could come thereof. Do you have speakers now, and what will they be talking about?
Well, we have Professor Chukuma Soludo on board already. He'll be talking about the COVID-19 and oil price crash. What is the implication for Nigeria? So it will act as a springboard for the discussion that are on Friday evening 7 p.m. What will Nigeria start doing now to ameliorate the dastardly effects of the oil price crash and the COVID? The truth is, this COVID-19 has already destroyed 30% of Nigeria's economy. The oil price crash destroyed the remaining 60% of Nigeria's economy. So remaining 10%. So how do we start to build that 10% maybe from next year, because this year is done already? That is the challenge.
Do you know the bigger challenge actually is that the oil price, the percentages you've just reeled out has destroyed them. But the bigger tragedy is that the COVID and the oil, if it was only the oil price, it could have been still be better. But the COVID has also destroyed the Nigerian backbone, that is their backup, which we refer as the Nigerian diaspora.
Yes.
Also at home, they are not working, so there is no hope.
And they cannot borrow, and Nigeria cannot borrow as well.
Exactly. In Igbo, they say the biggest tragedy in hunger is that means when your source is dried up, and the source of the person who is likely to lend you is also dried up, then you have a bigger problem. On that note, I will say thank you everyone for watching and joining us this evening. I remain MaaziEzeoke, and I've been speaking to Daniel Elombah, the CEO and publisher of Elombah.com. So on this Friday, this Saturday, right? Saturday, 7 o'clock.
No, it's on Friday.
Okay, sorry, Friday, 7 o'clock. Yeah. This Friday, 7 o'clock, I will be the host. I will be the moderator. Daniel Elombah is the host. No, or the other way around. I'm the host, and Daniel Elombah is the moderator. So we will be having Professor Chukuma Soludo to join us. There are other panelists and there are other speakers that we are working on to see if they can confirm their attendance. But clear your desk. Join us next Friday, 7 o'clock. Be on the watch out. We will be sharing the Zoom conference, the conference link. If you wish to join, please clear your desk, join, get your questions ready. And we hope and pray that the professor would be able to answer your questions as they come. Dan, once more, thank you very much for
having me on
finding the time to join this evening.